Folks, you've heard about buyer's remorse. We're going to talk about seller's remorse and then get into the latest home prices and insights for the City of Toronto for week ending February 14th, 2024. Thank you to the many of you that have subscribed to this channel. Those of you that come back every single week and you enjoy the show, consider subscribing. Real estate. Things just never they never cease to amaze me. I'm speaking to somebody on the phone. They call me because of the situation they're in. They bought a property. This was the buyer. Naturally, they bought a property middle of December. Closing is for the end of February. So it's not closed yet. But the seller has come back to them. And because the market has increased in value since then, the seller has said, if you don't give me another $40,000, I'm not going to close. And I thought, wow, really? And the buyer proceeds to tell me that his agent is negotiating that now. And he's calling me for advice, wondering what to do. And I very quickly had to say, first of all, I'm not supposed to interfere if you're already in contract with another realtor. And second of all, this is not even a realtor issue. This is very much a legal issue. They have a firm agreement in place. So to all of you that are sellers or buyers or real estate agents, especially if you're a real estate agent, after there's a firm agreement in place, if something was to change there, it is very much a legal matter. The best advice and the best thing you could do for your clients is refer them to their lawyer. Now, if their lawyer asks you to do something, create an amendment or whatever it may be, that's different. But that advice is coming from your client's lawyer. Those of you that are sellers and buyers, don't get your agent, or if your agent gets involved in this stuff, don't go to your lawyer. I personally have experienced this the last time the market went up. I was representing the buyer. We purchased a home. Before closing date, the market has significantly changed in those few months. And the seller was trying to get out of the deal. Gave us a reason that they no longer want to sell, personal family issues, they no longer want to sell. Whatever the case was, it was a legal matter. And my client's lawyer negotiated with the seller's lawyer. And well, it turns out we didn't close. However, the seller side did pay a financial penalty to my side, to my buyer, because of that situation of not closing. But it was negotiated by the lawyers. So yes, folks, sellers can have seller's remorse. I suspect that a lot of sellers that sold last year or even the first week of January, where closing is a bit later on in the year, well, the last 4 weeks, we've seen a rally in prices. Some of you sellers that have sold, I've seen other properties sell in your neighborhood for more than what your home sold for. And you're thinking, man, we could have got an extra 40, 50, 60,000 more. And it bugs you. But understand, you've signed a contract. The market could have gone the other way. And then your neighbors are selling for 40, 50, 60,000 less. Nobody knows. This is part of the deal. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. But we do know once you sign an agreement, that's a legal document. Getting out of it is going to have usually severe financial consequences for one side or the other. And it's a legal matter. It is not for realtors to get involved with. If you feel this video can help somebody you know, please pass it along. If you get value from what we're talking about, subscribe. If you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, it's really simple. Up here, there's a link to my calendar. In the description below this video, there's a link to my calendar. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you, and we'll talk about whatever's on your mind. Now, let's get into the numbers. Folks, the market is changing again. I know 4 weeks ago, I was talking about how busier it's getting and lots of offers coming in on offer night, and more properties are being listed with offer night, and buyers are showing up to compete. It's calmed down a little bit. It's still busy out there, but it is calming down a little bit. It's not the same intensity that we had just 3 and 4 weeks ago. It is calming down a bit. Let's look at the numbers here. So I have a bunch of cities here. This is average sold price for detached properties only. Now, I know this is a busy slide. The only reason I put on is just to really show the difference. We got Durham and Brampton down here at $1,145,000. We got Richmond Hill at over a $2 million average sold price. And we got Toronto for detached properties right in the middle of $1,572,000. We're going to focus on Toronto freehold properties for this show here. Condos, that's tomorrow night. But today we're looking at freehold properties, detached, semis, towns. But I do have the condo numbers here. And the difference between the condo average price and the detached average price, it's actually a little bit closer than it was the last few weeks. It's now $830,000, the difference between condo and detached. But let's look at City of Toronto only, detached properties. 132 detached properties were sold for week ending February 14th. Lots of people got for Valentine's gift a house. Congratulations. 132 were sold. Sales has been increasing. 24 detached properties were sold at $2 million or more. Average sold price for 2 weeks in a row has come down now. We're sitting at $1,572,000. Average price was shooting up quickly, but now it's coming down. It's only been 2 weeks now in a row. That's it, just 2 weeks. Is it a trend? It's hard to say. It's only been 2 weeks, but prices are leveling off a little bit right now. Compared to last year, 1,572 is 4% lower than what it was a year ago. Now, 4%, that's $70,000. 4%, little percentage. When you're talking about 1.5 million, it's quite a bit of money. There's a $70,000 difference. Median price is also 4% lower than where we were this time a year ago. Again, this is just for detached properties. 132 we said were sold. 46% of those were sold at list price or more. So close to half are selling at the list price or a bit more. Listings. We have seen listings slightly increasing, but they did come down this week. 240 were listed. Active listings is slightly trending upwards. So more and more properties are available for sale. Months of inventory has stayed the same as the previous week at 1.6. Now 1.6 is quite low. It is very much a seller's market. It's not an extreme seller's market like we've seen before, but it is very much a seller's market. And average days on market has come down from where we were before. We're now sitting at 18 as the average days on market. That's all the City of Toronto. 1.6 is the months of inventory. But when we break it down into 9 different parts of the city, well, we start to see how one part of the city kind of has a different buying or selling experience than another part of the city. For example, Scarborough has a 1.1 months of inventory. There's a difference between 1.6 and 1.1. It doesn't sound like much, but it's just that much more intense. Over here, we said 46% of the properties for all the city selling at list price or more. Scarborough, 54% selling at list price or more. East York, Riverdale Beaches area, 1.1 months of inventory, 53% selling at list price or more. Weston Yorkdale area, 61% selling at list price or more. High Park, only 4 properties were sold, but 3 of those were at list price or more. And you get to see it. Rexdale, Downsview, 0.7 months of inventory. Some areas are quite intense. A property gets listed and gets purchased right away, or days on market seems a little bit longer, but sellers are holding offer night. So the sale is not immediately, it's a little bit later, and buyers are showing up to compete. Here's semi-detached. 43 semis were sold. 11 of those were at $1.5 million or more. Sales are trending up. The amount of properties selling at 1.5 million or more are trending up. And for semis, prices starting to shoot way up there to now 1,337,000. 1,337 is 4% lower than where we were this time a year ago. The median price is the other way. It's 3% higher than where we were this time a year ago. If you look at the dotted line, that's the 4-week moving average. Both average and median price are trending upwards. Months of inventory for semis sitting at 0.9. Now we're getting into the extreme seller's market category of 0.9. 67% of the semis sold at list price or more. Townhouses, only 8 were sold. I put a star there because I'm a little surprised sales are coming down when we expect them to be going up at this time of the year. But it's only 8, which kind of plays into the whole notion of the sampling is just not that, it's not big enough to really get a true reflection of average sold price. But 8 townhouses were sold. These are freehold townhouses. Average sold price for those 8 is $1,225,000. 1,225 is 9% lower year over year. The median price is 12% higher year over year. The median price is actually higher than the average sold price. Months of inventory sitting at 2.7. Here's a quick summary. The 2 main markets for freehold, the detached and the semi, months of inventory is extremely low. It is competitive. At the beginning of this show, though, I said it's calming down a little bit. The market has changed. It's not as intense. And that's true. And that's the experience I get working with our buyers in the field, working with our sellers. We've seen the change. Just like we saw it early on, the middle of January, it went from right out of New Year's to, it's kind of quiet to, whoa, where all these buyers show up, what's going on? And it's just really intense, really busy. It's calming down a little bit right now. It's still very much a seller's market when it comes to detached, semis, and towns. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome day.